And yeah, we jump straight into guys being boarded on the ship. Told that the ship is prepared and that you'll be going out with the exact same crew you came in on. So the crew that you chose for the last mission is staying with you, minus the two Spectre Star Technologies people. You know, they don't need to see what's going on over here.
They were integral to our crew.
Alyssa said no on that one.
Archibald certainly doesn't fight that hard.
She is certainly appreciative of your kind words for them and how they were helpful, but this is no place for them.
It is not altogether surprising that Park has ignored the general order to disembark and cleverly remained hidden until the ship was several hours in its transit to the horizon.
Yep, no, not at all surprising. Yeah, and real quick. Yeah, you two.
Oh, and I see that Riley was, in fact, persuaded / ordered to accompany us.
Yeah, there was no persuasion. That was definitely as much against Riley's will as anything can be against Riley's will with, being protected by crew.
That's always a good thing to remember. That nobody can actually boss Riley around.
What makes right?
So yeah, you've got a very sulky teenager and a very uncertain teenager aboard the ship as it undocks from the refueling ship and prepares to head out to the Zentra horizon. There we go. That's what I'm missing. Music. Metaspace music for now. Now, unless there's anything that anybody wants to do, your trip to the horizon is fairly uneventful. 16 hours. There's not a whole lot of complaining, so to speak, about the sudden redeployment. Your crew is kind of just okay. You are down those six other not mission team, 6 other unnamed crew, or not unnamed crew. You are down Albert, Brenda, Charlize, Daniel, Eddie, and Freya. But everyone else is doing their jobs with some trepidation. Seems like the buzz has caught them, and there's a solemn lull across the ship of importance. When you reach the Zenthra horizon, everyone is given the yellow alert, spike drill impending, and order to stations and crash couches. And from there, it's just a quick short hop to let's see, go through your cards.
Insofar as anything is a short, quick hop.
Insofar as anything's a short, quick hop, yeah.
I mean, we're able to go straight to Audrima, right? Do we
Yeah,
have a rudder?
do you remember where the rudder to Audrima came from for the Raza? Was it
I
from?
certainly don't.
Okay. I can't remember whether it was from Aslud, Irgarji, Holau, or Zentra.
If anything, hello, I think, but I don't know for sure. With any certitude.
Let's just go ahead and go for that. So yeah, there's a 2-hex jump over to Holau so that the hedgehog can use the rudder that the Raza made less than 6 months ago, and I think that's all that's important, right? Just for how dangerous this feels like it's going to be. Okay, less than a month ago is the absolute safest. This is less than a year ago, less than a year old, which is still fairly safe. Your pilots should have no difficulty with that. And so you've got 4 days en route to Holo.
And then 6 days to Audrima?
A little bit. 18 divided by 4, so
18
divided by 3. No, I'm sorry. Duh. Divided by 3.
That would be
How did I
6.
get 4? It's still 6 days, yeah. 2 days per hex.
So 10 days total to Audrima.
They're gonna stop in at Holo for extra gas, so add 2 days to that.
Okay, 12 days to Audrima.
Just a quick hop.
Yeah. Just a quick hop. In the span of that quick hop, well, it is 12 days, so before I jump us right to Audrima, are there any interactions? I do have time for this. It's the whole, this is an important information session, does not rely on you getting to Audrima within the first 10 minutes. So, we don't have to ignore this travel time. Anything?
I mean, how long was it before I could use my I never united my character sheet. The electro shock thing you blah blah blah.
I think 1 week.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just spending the time, doing little zip zaps with my fingers, practicing. Where is? I know this sheet has cyberware. There it is. The yield scan capacitor. Aha.
There you go. Well, if there's nothing else, then the ship just kind of remains abuzz. Riley calms down with freaking out over spiders.
I have something if Aura is willing to play a scene.
Sure. And I also have a question on the back of that spiders thing, because you said I see some as well.
All right, so let's do the well, is this just a quick question, Ben?
No.
Okay, then let's hold on to that. Ben Spiders could be the name of a band. And we'll do Tuller and Aura with Ugi and Izya.
Well, it's not just Oogie and Izya. Oogie has had the workshop fabricate a couple of uniforms for Riley and Park.
Oh no. Okay.
And Oogie shows up at Izya's office or quarters or whatever with these two in tow. Izya, I need your help with something.
Oh.
He points with his thumb at the two children in Raza uniform. We got a couple of youngins. One of whom wasn't allowed to stay behind, and one of whom refused to stay behind. But I figure with the tension on board, it seems like this is an important mission. Both of them are going to be part of it. You're better at this kind of thing than I am. Well, what do we do to get two new recruits ready for the field?
Well, there are several traditional bad ways to do it.
From Riley. This is dumb.
On the other hand, that's not exactly to be hoped for either. I suggest you find somebody who needs help and leave them in charge of these two.
So Oogie is going to wheel on Riley with Izya's advice ringing in his ears. Riley, I want you to pay close attention to me. You hear?
Okay.
Something's going on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to protect you. I know you've got crew riding shotgun. But as far as the rest of Roz is concerned, you are an adult member of this team. I need you to behave like that. Do you understand?
Kind of fidgets a little bit and her head turns down, looks back up. Yes.
And then to Park, who has presumably been silent the whole time. Park, I don't even rightly know exactly how old you are. But
Park
you chose to
shrugs.
be here. You chose to be here. Same goes for you. If you're going to be part of this mission, and he kind of gestures at the clothes that he had made for them, we're going to treat you like you're adults, and you're going to act like you're a member of this crew.
Park immediately. But what can I do? I don't know how to fly a ship.
Well, the good news is we have about 2 weeks to find that out.
Park's eyes go wide. I'm gonna learn how to fly a ship?
I
You
doubt
can't help
that.
but break a smile.
But we'll find something that you actually can pick up for you to do.
And Riley, if they get to fly a ship, I get to fly the ship.
Good news, neither of you will be flying the ship. Probably take that off of your minds now, but we will find something for you to do.
And as if they've been hanging out together at various points since this whole thing began, they both give an "Aw, no fair" pretty much the same time.
So, as the veteran of at least one space disaster, we're going to let the people who already know how to fly the ship fly the ship.
Do they know about the spiders? That was from Riley.
In the event that there are any spiders which need to be avoided, I'm sure that... Who is our pilot right now? Do we know? We know, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, you know. I don't know, but you know.
I'm sure that everybody has been briefed on the appropriate methods for avoiding them. It's one of those things that would take more than 2 weeks to learn, I'm afraid.
Riley just kind of quiets down, and Park was already being quiet after the outburst.
I don't need any help, Oogie. You'll need to find someone else who needs some. But I'm sure these two will be very interested to learn whatever they can.
Riley looks over at Park, then over at up at Oogie. Archibald was nice. And then Riley looks at Park again, and then back at Oogie, a little bit more excited. He could teach us to shoot.
Oogie looks flustered, but then he kind of mutters, "You were pretty good with the jacks. I suppose you got the reflexes for it like I don't."
From a practical standpoint, that's not the worst thing they could be learning right now. That's probably a good idea.
All right. The two of you get some marksmanship lessons then.
Okay.
And Oogie takes the two kids in search of Archibald. Thanks,
All right.
Izzy. Appreciate the advice.
Sure. Can you remind Elena to forward those crew briefings to me? I think I've spotted some things that could be running better.
Will do. So,
Where do we find Archibald?
if Archibald is willing, Oogie is going to deposit the two children in his care, and
Yeah,
is going to go.
Like the first 5 days is just all safety lessons there.
Riley and Park come to Archibald, following closely behind Oogie. An eagerness and excitement in both their eyes. One born of a little bit of perhaps pride, and maybe Oogie can discern this, but Riley may have pool sharked Oogie here. Because back on her homeworld, she was given a laser rifle and entrusted with using it, and so she believes that she has this down pat, and that's the smugness in her smile as they come up to Archibald. Park is more interested just in just for being here.
So Riley thinks that she secured the Easy A class.
Yes.
I mean, let's be clear here, though. Riley is almost certainly a better marksman than Oogie is. Already.
Quite probably, yes.
You guys will all note, Oogie has not picked up a firearm once this entire campaign.
I believe he was even offered one and
Declined.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So
Hey,
how does
Archibald, these two greenhorns, they're in need of some marksmanship lessons. I figure they ought to be able to defend themselves proper, whatever we're going to be doing here.
All right. Firearms, huh? All right. Well, first off, we got to start with the safety. And I'm just gonna go like Archibald's just gonna go into a lecture. You know, like I said, for the first few days is just gonna be all safety stuff, and Riley's probably gonna be very bored.
Archibald is going to teach them just how boring firing a gun really is.
I mean, he'll actually teach them, but yes, it is definitely going to start off more boring than one might expect.
there are a couple of points where Archibald Riley thinks Archibald is not paying attention, not knowing just how attentive Archibald is, and she kind of turns away and she's mumbling something, and then
Pop quiz.
What?
Oh, well,
No, that was Riley.
I should have had a question ready. Where is the safety on a Mark III las gun? I don't know.
And you see Riley start panicking. She like looks away from Archibald. No, no. And then across the range, a target falls down. And she looks at Archibald, trying her best to look innocent. And Park over there, looking at her with the shrewdest eyes, like they know what just happened.
Wait a second. She wasn't holding a firearm, was she?
She was not.
Mm-hmm. Crew.
There's the briefest little flash of light over there by the target. And Riley under her breath, traitor.
Archibald's just gonna shake his head, looking just not like reprimanding anything, just looking disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
They get the silliness out of their system, and Park proves to be a phenomenal study. Riley comes in with way too much certainty in her own ability to handle a firearm.
Yeah, you gotta unlearn a lot. I'm sure we gotta unlearn a lot of bad habits.
Yeah, she was only ever given laser rifles because, obviously where she was at. So she has no idea how to handle the kick of a ballistic gun. And yeah, all the bad habits on top of that. Archibald has his work cut out.
Well, he will diligently teach.
All right. Oh, we can come back to that as a later scene if there's anything you want to add there. I want to get over to the Ben Spiders. Ben name.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. We never figured out the spider thing, did we?
That's something that Archibald and others could certainly ask while Riley is handling a firearm.
Well, we'll let Ben do his thing.
Yeah. Ben.
Yes.
What did you want to ask about the spiders?
You say spiders. You say me. Well, you said I saw them as well. I'd like to know what the hell I saw and when I saw it.
Did I say Marcus saw them also? I think so. If I did, I believe that was a mistake.
Okay, that's no worries then.
Okay, I apologize for that. Yeah, no, the spiders is, well, okay, so one possibility is that in my campaign here, in my setting, the visualization you get for traveling through metaspace is like an audio visualizer. Is obviously not representing the music or the sounds perfectly, the audio visualizer. In the same way that the three-dimensionally constructed map that you're traveling through metaspace is not representing the 4+ dimensional space that you're traveling through. And those visualizers, because they are basically just artistic representations of an incomprehensible landscape, get creative. Depending on where the ship is from, you might actually have spiders in that metaspace visualizer that you are supposed to avoid. That might be the representation of what others present as a metaspatial storm. So if you think that's information that Marcus would put together, then that's fine. Otherwise, no. There's nothing specific that Marcus would have seen or know about the spiders. I don't think.
Okie dokies.
Do you want him to ask someone?
If he doesn't know, no.
Okay. All right. Well, you make it out to Holau. The ship goes into the mercenary swarm to get refueled, fill up the other fuel bunker, so that when you're at Audrima, you're not at the mercy of whatever fueling they have out there. And then you make your way back to the Holau horizon. Just hours before you reach the horizon, there's another pulse. Third one recorded. Marcus and Isya say anything about this one? Do anything after feeling it?
Marcus goes to lay down in his chair for a bit.
I will notify the command staff, and then continue to not really be able to do much of anything about this, from what I have been able to gather.
Well, I imagine that Marcus and Isya have. Gosh, I have so many folders open. Have been continuing to work on it, or is that a bad assumption?
It's a safe assumption where Izzy is concerned.
Okay.
Marcus hasn't really been working on it. He's just been trying to forget about it and just look at other things, basically.
Okay. Excuse me. Well, I do have some added information about the pulse and any work that Isya and Marcus, if Marcus were participating, would have uncovered for it. And it's been another week.
Given that most of what Izzy would be trying to do is cross-reference incident reports and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
sure, anything that would have come up, I'm interested to hear.
Okay. Second. So the probably the most interesting, at least the thing I think would be most interesting, is that the information, the language, whatever it is that you're getting here, is so difficult to decipher because it is also multidimensional. Isya has been able to identify that there is a looped component to the instructions. I believe I had said that he discerned that earlier, or that he could not discern a loop earlier. But being able to separate out different like elements or dimensions within each part of part or sound, like playing 3D chess, has been able to see that this layer has been looping. It just didn't look like it because included in this piece of information was other information on this layer, and with that information changing, everything seemed like it was changing. I've even written on here, it's all very confusing.
Accurate.
Isolating and extracting what Isya believes to be the instructions, the looped instructions, from the other data allows better analysis, and runs him into another problem, a different problem. it's too short of a loop to make much more of it than they already have. But it serves that small little loop serves as a foundation for analyzing the other data. And this leads them. I am assuming that Izya and Marcus worked together on a bit of this because there's some telekinetic work that goes into this as well. Um, but
If Max is asked, he would help.
okay, good. Um, the other data, A, appears to be local, changes as the ship travels, and B is it appears to be counting. You guys are getting pretty good at detecting numbers. And one thing is for sure, the counting data is going up. It's increasing. I'm not sure how helpful or explanatory any of that is, so please do ask any questions you have.
It's increasing in relation to what?
In relation to what it was,
But we're not staying put. So if it's coming from somewhere local, you would expect that eventually you'd go to a different locality, and at the very least, what it was related to would be different.
yes, that's true, and that does make some of the analysis more difficult, but you've got some fairly persistent data for Zenthra.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how to fully explain it, except just to say that it. How about if I were to describe it as a a wave that has rolled out from a place uh, up a slope and is coming back down the slope, and the various stones and immovable objects that it is coming back past are creating ripples that it counts. In this example, the numbers that are increasing because those objects are getting bigger, not because there's more water going out and coming back.
I don't know how Aura feels about this, but every time you've described this psychic phenomenon to me, if there's a puzzle or a mystery here that we're supposed to be able to decipher or discern, I'm lost.
um, I feel like Aura was seeing it as a puzzle to decipher initially. Um, uh, I hope I dispelled that at least some. That it's not a solve it next session puzzle. It is more information. Some might say it's
Listen,
more noise.
it's the countdown to the next big burst. Woo!
Oh, well, it's something anyway.
I suppose what I would want, if I were to put a period on something, it would be that Marcus and Izya are able to read and catalog this, even if they don't fully understand what they're seeing. And they're making more progress too.
It almost seems like effectively this is some relative of a field strength measurement, and whatever that strength is going up.
Yeah, that would be another good reference.
If it was a puzzle to solve, I would be asking you questions like whether it was going up linearly, geometrically, whatever. But I don't think anything helpful is going to come of that, so we'll skip that part.
Go ahead, Tulare.
I was going to say the third pulse also came sooner on the heels of the second pulse than the second on the first. Is that correct?
It did not. It was exactly, about exactly 28 and a half days after.
Okay.
It's just that you guys had a lot of travel time in between the two of them. The last one was on the 1st of April, and you guys are now on the 29th of April.
Actually, I tell you what I will do. Do we have anybody in the NPC crew who knows anything about astrophysics?
Lily Grace.
Okay.
Not Quiet River. Lily Grace, I think.
Like serious business astrophysics.
Probably more along the lines of familiarity. I don't. Let's see. Yeah, she was primarily a poppy farmer at Hydroponics.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we need to find an astrophysicist. I'm starting to have a suspicion about what's going on here, and we'll need one to confirm or deny, but I guess we'll find out later.
Well, why don't you tell me what that suspicion is, and I'll tell you if any NPC crew can help with it.
So, with a 28-day period between events, and things scaling up constantly, my suspicion is that this is connected to some kind of cycle of something somewhere, right?
Okay.
Most, absent a meteorologist or a climatologist who might actually also be able to, get into that headspace, things like orbital periods suggest themselves as parallels here, or, similar sorts of math to have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay.
But I don't think we have anybody who knows anything about those things at the level as you would be hoping for available.
Well, that sounds to me more like it wouldn't necessarily need somebody at that high level of astrophysics if you're just trying to compare the timing of the pulses against known periods of
Right.
yeah.
And no, that somebody could do. I'm
Mhm.
worried more about trying to calculate them or measure them, which is hard.
For that, I
But
think
if
your
you wanted to
ship
make
is
some comparisons, yes, that's probably the next thing to do.
yeah. I think your ship is generally able to do that. I mean, uh, that actually even might be a pilot thing, because all the math of piloting from one place to another in a system is abstracted down into a pilot role. So pilots can do that.
Well, it's just going to go look for somebody more qualified than him to try to figure that end of it out.
All right.
It looks like something is on a 28-day cycle doing something that is making things worse, no matter where we measure from. Or at least, bigger.
Yeah. Your pilot is oh you I guess Christy.
That or generic NPC number 5.
Yeah, no, for this kind of jump, a 3-hex jump, Christy has been assigned to piloting. Christy was a teacher of limited subject advanced education on Lamiera. I don't think I actually ever specified what those subjects were, but that's fine.
One of them could have been astrophysics, for all we know.
At the very least, Izya can present to her his theory. She is very accommodating of that theory, and says that she'll start running through the database for similar orbital periods.
That would be good. It's got to be something either very large or in a place where whatever it is doing is magnified as well. which has suggested that we probably need to be looking at systems where we know there are metaspace influences. But beyond that, I think I am out of ideas for the moment.
By magnified, do you mean maybe factors of 10 or 2 or powers of 2?
I don't know, just more.
Okay.
If it's having an effect over every system we have been in lately that is continuing to grow, you would expect it to be at more or less the center of where the effect was propagating from. But either way, you would also expect whatever it is to be something that has a much stronger interaction with metaspace than the average planet or moon or, cool space monolith or anything like that.
She nods appreciatively and says that she'll look into it. And I did put down what her advanced aptitude is. It's whoops, it's art history and literary history. So she also would have been a good person to go to for those paintings. Oh well. All right, Christy, we'll keep we'll run a search on that and keep an eye out for anything interesting. And another 6 days later, Elena goes ahead and orders the drill. Nothing untoward happens following the heels of a pulse. And 6 days later, May 5th, I believe, you arrive in Audrima. One moment, please. I have so many A systems. A plus. A plus planet. You are immediately greeted by a looped broadcast. This space is controlled by Audrima. You are not welcome. In 24 hours, you will be boarded, your worthwhile goods confiscated, and your fuel tanks filled if you still live.
Generous of them.
I mean, at least we have 24 hours now.
And they'll give you fuel, so you can get out of the system if you still live.
We have 24 hours at least.
Oh,
Ordered by what, I wonder?
Yeah, that's the real question, right? Because Audrima doesn't really have. It's not. Was it a whole populated planet with the suspiciously similar-looking people, or was it just a small number of people?
Is this the clone planet?
I think it's suspected clones.
Yeah, suspected clones. I don't believe the crew of the Raza ever orbited the planet. I believe you were approached at the horizon and interacted with the ship that approached, and even sat down in the conference room with them.
So we don't really know how many. Okay, but they do have at least a ship.
They do.
And a high degree of confidence that can board anybody who comes by, from the sound of things.
Yeah. Well, press on.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do? Be ordered away by it at this point? Just to go home? Sorry, they said we can't land.
Well, if they're boarding us in 24 hours, we have 24 hours to figure out what we're going to do about that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let me see. If we beeline to the planet, we can do that within 24 hours, right? Actually,
yeah, you can do that within 16. You guys are all on the bridge, by the way.
I suppose we don't actually know that the important stuff is on the planet, though, do we? Or let me see. There's only one populated planet, right?
Yes, there is only one planet in the system.
There's just one planet total.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any evidence of there ever having been other planets in this system?
There is not. There are asteroids. There's things that you would normally expect to see in a system, with the exception that there's very few solar systems that have a single planet and no moons.
That's really weird.
But
I
then
need
again,
some-
we did kind of come here expecting weird. So
Yeah.
I need someone to refresh my memory. Why are we here? What was it about Audrima that we knew we had to
The
come
pulse
here
came from.
specifically?
the source of the pulse.
Okay.
Ooh, and
This is the source of the radiation.
I
Need to walk into it.
should have offered a little bit more detail. I was trying to go too quickly. I apologize for that. Ben, Marcus feels as if he is going the right way while the ship is traveling through metaspace towards Audrima.
I feel a pull.
Yes. You're definitely being drawn to Audrima. I probably should have told you that before, so I don't mind if you guys want to go back and talk about that before now, or if you want. Doesn't sound like it. So yeah, you were all on the bridge discussing why, and Marcus felt a pull.
I did not.
You did not know.
Telekinetic feels a physical pull.
It makes sense that he would feel a pull. I don't feel anything in particular here.
No, the whispers and the looped kind of instructions that you've been hearing haven't changed, with the exception of the data, the count.
That is not super comforting. Okay. Good to know.
Bad, Ben, bad. um, Elena looks at the six of you, five of you,
Number of us.
the number of you.
The collection.
Bracket quantity.
And so is approach planets then.
Yep.
Not a lot else to do now that we're here.
Unless Marcus is feeling a pull towards a different part of the system.
No, Mark just kind of like puts his arm out. Yeah, no, definitely going the right way. I'm a compass now.
Yeah. Marcus, you wanna...
Compass, or you like a wind vane?
I wonder if like I'm a magnet. I'm finding, like my opposite.
Does his telekinetic sense continue to give him a sense of rightness now that we're back into normal space?
Ben, go ahead and roll wisdom telekinesis.
Boom.
Yeah. It is not as strong, but Marcus is being pulled to Audrima, the star, not the planet orbiting it.
Yeah, straight into the star then.
See? Told you I was ending the campaign soon.
So.
Yes.
I've character question. Did we get the infodrive? We didn't, did we?
It is
That's the mission result that we haven't gotten yet.
Yes, you've gotten it. It simply you haven't seen the results of it yet. Exactly. Yeah.
Also, I don't know that it's necessarily something that would be able to plug and play into our ship. I think it's
No, it's just, I want to see what happens when we get near the star, then we infodrive what we see.
I mean,
But alas, we can't do that.
could be while we're here, the Raza pops in.
We will find out.
The Raza would have had it installed already if they weren't orbiting Bird or watching Zendare and its struggles.
Well, let's try and get closer to the sun and see what kind of reaction we get, because that's where I'm being pulled to.
To the sun?
I mean, gravitationally, it makes sense. It's a massive source of energy. It makes sense that it would be the thing pulsing. Ah, but that already. Wait, what kind of star is it?
I legitimately don't know. I didn't nerd out hard enough on the star types to make
Well,
it anything.
Is Audrima habitable
Audrima is habitable, yes.
for
Okay.
human beings?
Yes.
The range of possibilities there is fairly narrow.
I mean,
Yeah,
my question is basically, is it about, what is it? I forget which star it is that turns into a black hole.
It is not a neutron star.
Okay, that's fine.
And it
So I was going to
doesn't
say, I
appear
didn't
to
know
be
if we were getting them
supermassive,
kind of
otherwise
pulses
weird.
or not.
Yeah.
I think about the only relevant information about the star is it's big. Sorry, it's dense, not quite neutron star, but has a strong gravitational pull.
Lots of pent-up energy.
Define strong. Like stronger than you would expect for its mass. Just like
Nah.
about what you would expect for its mass.
About what you'd expect for its mass.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look at my my note on that. No, I didn't specify any kind of star. I think the closest that I got to doing anything with the star types was that on the stellar map, which I'll move to you guys to real briefly. I gave them different colors, and that's about it.
Okay. So there is no reason that we should find this star about which one singular orbital planet is on one singular planet is orbiting. Especially unusual qua star.
Yeah, no.
Actually, there's a scientific explanation for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suspend disbelief. It's sci-fi, baby.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I don't know enough to give you a good science answer. I can only tell you what the story answer is.
There's nothing especially weird about the star. It's a little on the dense side.
Yeah, it's not unusual in the spectrum and range of regular stars. It's
There's no beeping on the consoles.
there's no beeping on the consoles. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
And it's not like anything like we need to get closer to look at it, right?
No,
Well, except that
reading
the thing is
or-
coming from there.
Yeah.
Right, but
Hmm.
to seem like we'd be able to,
I mean,
Maybe
for them,
is it just there's nothing remarkable at the star from where we're at, or is there nothing remarkable at the star itself in general?
Marcus wants to get
like-
closer because if there's a message and he's getting pulled towards that, if we get closer, we might hear the message
Right.
more clearly.
Yeah. There's nothing remarkable about the star as far as your ship's readings go. As far as psychic or messages stuff, yeah, you'll need to get closer to it for that. The
Okay,
only
we get
thing
closer to it.
unusual about this whole solar system is that it's a single planet with no moons.
So something here, everything else.
Or
Maybe the planets were.
Maybe.
Are we able to see Starfield around here? What's the sky look like?
Yeah, the stars around also don't hint at anything unusual.
Okay. Just making sure we're not inside of a Dyson sphere.
Yep. Nope.
Okay, I have a new question.
Okay.
Cross-referencing with all of the psychedelic art that I was apparently hornswoggling people with.
Mhm.
Have we got any art of this system?
Of the planet Mectora, you do
Mhm.
not.
But we don't know if we have, weird art of anything on the surface. It sounds like.
Yeah, nothing has been labeled as Mectora or the Audrima system in your defaced art collection.
Okay. Do we have any unmatched art?
On what?
Unmatched art that we are not sure what is of.
That's a good question. And why don't we give Asta a skill check on that? Proficient skill check from Hartman.
Okay. I have to remember how to do that yet again, but that's fine.
Hold shift, double
Shit.
click. And the skills should say a plus and a number along a bar on the top right of the NPC sheet.
I found it.
Oh, fantastic. No, Asta was able to match all of the unmarked or unlabeled art, or the art that didn't have obvious landmarks, with a planet. And none of
Okay.
them were Mectora or Audrima.
So to the best of our ability to tell, unless we miss some art, there's no prediction of metaspace emergence in this system.
Right.
Assuming you believe the predictions in the first place. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to go get closer to their star then.
Okay.
So, closer to star first.
All right. Elena has already given the order to Christy to approach the star. Christy has, of course, turn off the looped message.
Start a timer. I want to see how prompt they are.
Start a timer. I want to know when they're coming.
Well, I mean, yeah. What if they show up at 20 hours?
Right. What if they lied?
I mean, what if
Get
they're
our
late?
space lawyers on it. We're supposed to have 24 hours to
Yeah.
do whatever it is we were doing.
That's what I said. I want to see how prompt they are.
Yeah.
The
I'm right there with you.
tensions on the ship are rising. Elena has, of course, informed the crew in a galley meeting that how important this is, even if Elena can't quite express why it's so important. Um, and try to assuage any concerns about flying toward the star. It's no different from flying towards a planet, she tells him.
We're not planning on flying into the star yet.
Yeah, she also has to answer that question.
Right. Which is an important point, in
Uh-huh.
fairness.
um, but about 12 hours later, you are hailed by Elena and told that we're about an hour away from as close as she's willing to get without more information.
Okay. Nothing else has happened yet?
Marcus's compulsion, his draw, has increased, but not as much as you would expect from bringing a piece of iron close to a magnet.
So he's not a compass.
It's I would liken it to the dead zone of a console controller.
Uh,
You've reached that point where the input plateaus.
Have Izya's instructions become any clearer?
Izya's instructions have not changed.
Sounds like we're going towards the
Whatever they
planet
are. Have we seen any facilities, stuff out here that might explain
Orbital
this?
structures
No, no.
to the planet.
You're outside of the asteroid field. In fact, the asteroid field is outside the horizon, I should say.
There's an asteroid field?
As far as I know, there's asteroids in every single system, right?
Not necessarily.
Hmm.
But if there is one, and there's something here, that's good to know. That's a fact.
Yeah, there are asteroids here.
We like facts. Facts tell us things.
But they're farther out than the horizon, which is generally that weird place where gravity of the sun is competing or crashing against the gravity of other things. It's that weird place where there's a little bit more lip of gravity to grab onto. The asteroids are outside of that. Most solar systems, the planets are inside. The Earth system, Planet X would be outside of it, just for some scientific reference.
Are you talking about the Oort cloud?
Um, no.
Like way out past Pluto for us?
Yeah, Planet X is supposed to have that big old huge massive orbit.
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying that would be outside the horizon. Um, the horizon being a kind of fictional place where the gravity from the local star is in greater competition with gravity from the universe.
So far as spatial drilling is.
So what you're telling us is that we're still outside the orbit of Mectora.
No, I don't.
Or I'm managing to understand you completely backward here.
I think you've gotten me completely backward. Well, let's ignore the asteroids because I don't actually feel like they add a whole lot to this. It's mildly at best, important to know that there are asteroids, but that they are very far away from the star and from Mectora.
And if there's something hidden, I imagine, presumably, if there was something hidden in the asteroids, it would be like, picking through it. That would be a whole thing that we don't
Yeah,
have time for right now.
yeah. Um,
So
you
we'll say
guys,
that it could have something, but not feasible to find.
yeah, and you guys right now are closer to the sun than Mectora orbits. Um, yeah. Sorry, my train of thought went somewhere else. Um, your red shirts and various other unnamed crew are very busily analyzing data from the local star, and one by one, specific spectral scans, scans for various things, even the
For our infraworld scans?
yep, even the infraworld scans, the crew manning those stations and performing those duties come back one after another. Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. And
So, I mean, so as far as we're aware, our psychics are just crazy.
I really think that requires a drastic change of opinion for any of you.
I was gonna
I
say.
mean, but it's confirmation, you know.
Christy looks up from consoles in front of her and slowly swivels her chair to look over at the five of you. Mektora's orbit is a little over 28 days.
Okay. That's really fast in planetary terms.
Yes.
Where in
How did they pull that
space?
off?
What were you asking there, Tulare?
Where in space, relative to the star, would Mektora have been at the time of the pulse?
Well, Christy goes back to the console and plugs some things in there. And I am going to need to take a second here. Because
The exact answer isn't really important if it's calculable, and it really should be because astrophysics is extremely predictable.
Yeah,
If she
yeah.
can tell, if she can tell us what the period of the orbit is, she can roll it back to the last time we got a transmission.
Right, exactly. Basically, what Oogie's going
It's
to
like so
suggest
fast, I'm surprised it's still in orbit.
is flying the ship so that we are in that line.
Okay. Yeah. Give me just 1 second. I want to make sure that I'm using the right term here. It was either orbit or revolution, and
Well, that's either a short year or a long day.
right, and that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
refresh myself on.
It's a really long day.
Prepared myself for so many different numbers and questions, and this was one that slipped past me. Actually, so that I'm not wasting your time, why don't we take a 15-minute break? I feel like this is an important enough detail to get right for us to take a. Let's just do a 10-minute break.
Okay.
I'll get some water.
Okay. Cool.
Water. Also, my new headset kind of works when I'm out of range now.
Oh, well, good. That's good.
It doesn't like drop in and out. It tends to just drop quality significantly.
Ah,
But it's definitely an improvement.
all right. But I'm back. The mouse is back. I'm bringing us back to
Nice.
frame.
The mouse in the house.
Okay, so clarified that the 28, slightly more than 28 Earth days cycle is actually the rotation of Mektora, not the orbit of Mektora. The orbit of Mektora, Christie goes on to say, appears to be exactly 28 Mektoran rotations. 28 Mektoran days. Or, sorry, 10 Mektoran days. Which does stand out as odd because orbital mechanics are rarely that exact.
Yeah, the fact that the planet's the only one in its system speaks to some rather intense stellar and geoengineering in this system already.
Mm-hmm.
So just to make sure I recorded this correctly in my notes, we discovered that Mectora experiences a very long day, 28.5 Earth days long, and a year of exactly 10 Mectoran days for
Correct.
285 Earth days.
Christy can get more specific.
10.5 of their days. I think you did the math wrong there.
Christy can get more specific in that each rotation is 28.2793 Earth days.
And a year is 10 of those.
And a year is 10 of those, yes.
What does that number equate to?
282.793. You did not do the math wrong. I didn't listen properly.
In what way are you asking that, Ben?
Nah, it's just obviously something very specific with that number. I'm trying to think what it works out to. But don't worry about it.
If Marcus is asking Christy, she could dig down and tell like hours, minutes, and seconds if that's something that I think could be relevant. Yeah, you know what? She does it anyways.
It is suspiciously close to 9 times pi hours. nine times pi days.
Well, she says that it is 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. I'll type that out for you guys.
It is within a 1/10 of a percent. No, it is within 1,000th of a percent of 9 times pi.
I knew it was. I knew the number meant something. I'm like, that's way too obvious to be something.
Oh, it's fairly close to the period of Earth's moon, but Earth's moon is 29.5 days. Ish.
I just want them over time, you know. That stuff will work its way out, but to be that precise.
Yeah. It's about this time when you get hailed. We're being hailed by what appears to be identified as a Audrima ship. I assume you guys answer it.
No, we just stand there and listen to the phone ring.
Well,
It's like that scene in The Matrix.
Everyone's like, is anyone going to answer that?
Elena does look at it and then looks over at you guys.
Fine. We should answer the phone.
The phone is the incoming call is from a frigate that is just arriving in the region. It would be 6 hours. They'd be about 2 hours away from you at your speed. And it has Spectrestar Technologies. Yeah, I was wrong when I said it was Audrima. It has Spectrestar Technology ship ID. The transmission has some kind of Audrima insignia or identifier to it.
And it's not that shuttle, right?
It's not that shuttle, no.
Whatever that shuttle's name was.
Starmint.
Ah, yes.
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't answer them.
You answer, and a attractive ish looking swarthy man is on screen. It's a man working behind him that looks similar, and a woman also working walking through the background that looks similar. I'll give you some visuals here in just a second. Miscellaneous. Nope. There we go.
I was trying to figure out if Donnie Darko was the inspiration for that number. I knew I heard them numbers before.
Donnie Darko. There's a good reference.
I knew I heard them numbers before, but I couldn't remember what.
Oh, that's big.
Good catch.
Oh God, that's a giant floating head out in space.
All right, prepare for another giant floating head.
That, or we have the we've got like a 360-degree screen around the bridge. And it's just broadcast on that. Oh God, it's also huge.
I think even 700 is too big, so we're gonna go even smaller than that. There we go.
Excellent cosmetics and really bad hairdressers.
That's AI, baby. There we go. Now I can get them without names overlapping. That's, I don't know when Roll20 started doing that. So, people in the background of this screen that they look like they're clones or related, but they're not identical clones. They're not identical twins.
We are all Horatio.
Ah, yes, Horatio.
Yeah. I don't remember if Horatio is all identical or not.
Yeah,
They
Horatio
aren't.
is identical.
Yeah. Yeah, these aren't all identical.
They're like the weird genetic engineering equivalent of the Borg over in the Endless Space series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You can make other people to Horatio, couldn't you?
Well,
Yeah.
no, you can take traits from other species and give them to your Horatios.
Oh, right.
And
Anyway.
the man on screen says, Hedgehog, why have you proceeded into Audrima space?
Has it
Going
been
to
24 hours yet?
Oh yeah, what's our timer say?
It's only been like 14 hours. 15 hours after you've done all the analysis and scans and stuff.
So you're saying we've got 9 hours? No, I feel like unless anyone really feels like it, we should probably talk to them. Stay cordial, not try to abide by the letter of the law.
There appears to be some kind of psychic transmission emanating from within your system, and we're investigating.
You should not investigate. You must leave.
We have 9 hours.
Just said we shouldn't rely on the letter of the law.
Audrima will grant you your time.
What a useful discussion this has been.
What size ship are they in?
They're in a frigate.
Not terribly threatening.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an old frigate. Old technology.
Just asking for no reason.
Oogie cheerfully jumps in. Audrima frigate, if you'd be willing to assist us in our investigation, you could have us out of your hair real fast.
What is your investigation?
Well, as my fellow here suggested, we've detected some kind of a psychic emanation from your system. Something strong enough to be felt elsewhere in the system, in the sector. That kind of thing bears a little bit of inquiry, don't you imagine?
I do not. It is none of your business.
Au contraire, my friend, if it's affecting psychics elsewhere, it is everybody's business.
Not for long.
You know, it's sort of like when your neighbors are playing music too loud. Oh, they can claim they got their rights, but if it's bothering everybody in the building, folks are going to want to look into it.
Why is your ship branded Raza?
We're representatives of the Raza organization.
This causes a little bit of chatter amongst the people on board that frigate there.
Had news not made its way out here yet that the folks from the Raza had established themselves as an organization down in Zenthra?
Audrima does not need news from outside Audrima. This psychic phenomenon does not concern you.
Well, I mean,
It absolutely does.
you can say that, but the psychics here on board are very concerned.
There's some more chatter in a language that hang on one second. Where'd my systems go?
In a language that, is it not common enough that Oogie doesn't know it?
Someone recorded. Either way.
It is being recorded. It has roots in Xiaohu Chinese and Spacer English, and so there's parts that the language experts amongst you can pick out, but you would have to spend some time with them, immersed in it, to actually learn and be able to pick out more than what they're saying. One thing that's obvious is that the name Raza, which doesn't translate into anything else, so that's really easy for everyone to pick out, is
I got that one.
yeah, of more interest to them than it otherwise seems like it should be.
I think you said Shawi Chinese and Spacer English.
Mhm.
Or roots, not origins.
Yeah.
I mean, so this kind of an out of character thing here. Do we actually know where the Raza came from?
Not really.
Terrorism.
Yeah. It was the ship that Portia Lynn used to do terrorism.
Just thought. I mean, I think everyone's just kind of assumed it's just a fancy pretext ship that was somehow kept in working order.
You have a picture of Porcelain?
I'll ask a different question. Right? Do these people look anything like her?
Not really. Let me see if I've got a picture of Porcelain also to post, say, on the gigantic screen. Actually, I think I might have a smaller version of that. Porcelain. Oh, Porcelain is not an NPC, so I should not be looking in the NPC. Yeah, this is going to be another gigantic.
I hope so.
So not especially. These guys look like extras from Stargate.
There you go. Put Porcelain over here and remove Ivan's name from her. There are some similarities, but they're far enough that it could simply be they happen to have some similarities.
I was gonna say those are literally the same eyebrows. That's disturbingly close.
Believe Ashanti would be your best person for trying to like map facial divergence and stuff.
No, we just wanted to know if Portia Lynn looked like she had been a native of this place and maybe stole the Raza from them.
No,
Because it was a Spectre starship, wasn't it? The Raza.
yes, it was.
And these people have Spectre starships.
So it would seem. I mean, in fairness,
feel
they
like
have
I should
the
remember
same.
more.
You can put down to the vicissitudes of.
I should really remember more from when we came here. Before, but I don't.
The patriarchy imposing on people to pluck them and all that, but
I don't think we ever did anything really secret because we just kind of like talked to these people and left, didn't we?
I don't think they gave you much more than talk to them and leave. There were a lot more things that Lulu and Jairao both wanted to do, and they weren't really having it. And I think Lulu got frustrated too.
Yeah.
okay. So
Because these people are not very.
I think we've been as clear with these people as we can.
Well, they're currently chattering. The Raza has come up and
I feel like we need to be a little more forceful than the Raza was last time they were here.
they the man at the screen who would like to come aboard.
So that you can tell us again that we shouldn't be bothering to investigate anything.
I think the gentleman is proposing a trade.
You may have crew that we would buy, yes.
Oogie rolls his eyes. Now here I thought you were hoping to bargain in information.
We would like information, and we'll answer questions in turn.
A trade. Captain Elena requesting permission for several of our colleagues here to come aboard for commercial exchange.
Commercial exchange.
Elena looks at the rest of you.
I mean, I'll gladly go.
How much harm can they do? I mean, I
Easy on
guess
them.
These are just smiles.
We have the die now or
Actually,
later.
yeah, it's absolutely better for us to negotiate with them in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't hear anyone saying. I don't hear any nays.
Okay.
I'm interesting to see.
Elena sends over docking coordinates, or docking instructions.
I am cloaking.
Okay.
I am finding as many armed people to stand behind while we meet these guys as possible.
All right. Let's move these two over here.
Hey, at least I'll have
And
my combat
porcelain.
filter.
Well, we'll put porcelain just like we don't need porcelain on the screen anymore. Oh yeah, done. Okay, so we'll use this away team box as boarding, and it's not boarding, but you get what I mean there. The action team. And Actino, who do you want involved there?
Gosh, I'm really on the fence about Riley because the whole, I mean, it might be useful to. I think maybe Riley on standby in case. Because do
Well, I
they?
mean, it's hard to imagine us doing
Oh.
this without Riley there. In case we are, massively wrong about what's going on with this planet.
Oh, that's true. We also are they in range of infraworld scans?
Mhm.
No signs of Vega.
No signs of Vega.
Nice.
Well, then we don't need Riley there. I assume everybody whose job description includes the word guard should be involved in this. Again, in
Yeah.
case we are massively mistaken.
That would include Hartman.
That's all right. She'll be excited. These are not quite aliens, but they're almost as good.
It's the closest thing we have to. Well, no, never mind. The Trent are much closer to aliens. I guess the Un are pretty close to Alien too.
Yeah.
Or the Bro.
And
So never mind.
all 5 of you are going to be there, right?
Yes.
And 2 of us were
That's
proactive about it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna move everyone else over.
I'll just be there with my sniper rifle and combat field uniform. Just
Nope, you can't use the
looking at
sniper
us.
rifle. You're put up front. You're in melee.
Nice
I'm
try. I ain't gonna fall for that bluff.
By the way, I have decided that I've been being way too restrictive about the concealed mod. I'm gonna treat it as just needing the main action to unfold.
Okay. That seems fair.
Yeah, and I think it's fairly justified that it was taking Archibald longer before because it was definitely a new thing, but he's figured it out.
Is there any plausible reason we need anybody else on the crew with us? Doesn't seem like it.
Some crew to stay on the bridge. I assume this bridge also has some red shirts. How many red shirts do we have?
84.
Right.
Not
Okay.
all of them are security. There's probably about 30, 32 security.
Okay. So some of those are obviously on the bridge, and I guess they're just still scattered about the ship.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I guess we'll be.
You probably don't want 32 security people.
Yeah. No, we'll just have all the name security with us, and I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Famous last words.
Riley is making an argument to be present for whatever is happening. She doesn't even know what's happening, but she's got Park with her, and says Park agrees. I should be up there. Remember responsibility and being an adult.
I'd rather get their read on their opinion of the was it Iden, IDEN, right? Like Archibald's like I'd rather get a read on how they feel about the Iden crew before we put you in there.
But how would they even know?
I don't know, but these people are strange. I just don't know really what they'll do. Or what they can do, for that matter.
Fine.
They certainly seem confident coming up with a frigate to a cruiser.
All right.
But I do want to have Riley on speed dial. Yeah.
Okay. Riley is nearby then.
Yes. Just not in the room where, just they can just easily pull out a gun and shoot her for, oh god, there's an Iden, kill it.
Right. Okay. When the Spectre Star Technologies frigate docks up with you. The the frigate's name, if anybody's curious, is Summer Memory. And you see that there are a group of them waiting on the other side of the airlock. It looks like the same person you talked to.
But it may not be.
We never got his name, anyways.
All Audrima look the same. Actually, I think aren't their names just Audrima?
Uh, that's how they most frequently have referred to themselves. Yes.
So, dumb question, and this is just something I don't know about standard technology or standard procedure.
Mhm.
But when you do boarding of this kind, is there some kind of standard weapons and or explosives scan that you can do before these people are in your airlock?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think there's certainly reasonable to be a an external scan. They still have to go through the Jeffrey tube to get from their ship to your ship. It's not like the ships get close enough to physically kiss. An umbilical goes across. I'm not sure if Jeffrey's tube was the right one. An umbilical goes across and connects in the middle. And so while they're traversing that, um, it's definitely reasonable to do a scan for any kind of chemical weapons or biological agents that may be contained within the suit, as much as the suits can be penetrated, um, as well as laser or energy weaponry. It's not going to be perfect, and things can slip through, but it's a good confidence.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. If they pass that scan, I would say we let them in.
They do. They do. Second here. Yeah. And so a group of four of them step from the umbilical into your airlock and wait for the door to close behind them, the air to recompress. And one thing that may strike some folks as boldly playing their hand is that they are not wearing vac suits.
I look at them. Are they wearing vac skins? Or do I sense something?
Don't sense anything psychic, and nothing in um your scans, your checks would indicate that they have vac skins. In fact, I'll go one step further and put a period on that. Uh, the visuals and the scans indicated that there were uh, that the pressure contacted skin. Or
Wait,
the
what?
not pressure, that vacuum. That's what I'm looking for. Space is full of pressure. No, the other way around. That vacuum did contact skin. Um, and the clothes that they're wearing all acted as if they were in vacuum. They do not appear to have vac skins on either.
Uh, so they're engineered to survive for some time in space.
Or they're androids.
Or they're reptilians.
Yes.
They haven't had
Sure.
any evidence of reptilians yet so far, but they're always out there.
breathing through their cloacas.
So the
Well, I'm just gonna ask it up front. If I try to make telepathic contact with one of them, how does that go?
well, I will give you some context before you try it. Just in Izya's general telepathic sense, um, yeah, he's not detecting just four different people here. He is detecting a group of thoughts,
Okay.
and it does look like there's some kind of connection there. And he's not sure what will happen if he tries to connect with.
Let's find out.
All right. So,
Oh yeah, that's right. They got this whole like hive mind thing, by the way. Have fun.
what level of telepathic contact is you trying to create?
I'm not trying to do anything with it yet, so I don't think we have to escalate at all.
Okay.
Let's look.
Yeah. Good old autocorrect. Corrected small to smash. Um.
Yeah, I have opened contact, and then later I may do other things. I guess means I'm effectively establishing level 1 telepathic contact.
Yeah, that's what I was scrolling myself to. Okay. In establishing this telepathic contact, Izya feels uh, a kind of alien mentality and just strangeness that ends up doing 5 damage to him. And he makes the contact, but it is very slippery. It is very fortified. Um, in mechanical terms, he can do effectively one thing or one round with it.
So this is useless.
Well, I can observe the emotional states.
If they have emotions.
So this is useless. Okay.
There's a brief glimpse of from the one that he initiated the contact against. Curiosity, a little bit of wonder, and I wouldn't exactly call it an intense emotion, but I think it's intense enough that the single word Raza, um, oddly with an image of Portia Lynn, is the focus of those feelings of curiosity and wonder. It's not
Okay.
entirely useless.
No, just pretty useless, but that's all right. Let's see where we get with this.
Yeah, pretty useless. And as they step aboard, the man that's leading them, that looks like the man that was on the screen, introduces himself as Ezekiel. There are 2 females with him, introduced as Seraph and Haniel, and 1 other male with him as Temlakos.
You could write those names down, please.
I suppose.
Thank you.
This will be very important later.
See.
if you'll accompany us, we'll maybe settle down in the lounge. We got an excellent cook on board. He can prepare us some refreshments. I'm afraid we don't have any Alderman recipes. It seems like y'all have never published a cookbook, but we'd be glad to share some drinks and have a little chat.
Ezekiel nods in acknowledgement, still looking around at the ship, looking in curiosity at the assembled crew, including you guys. This is not like we were told the Raza would be.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope then we're making a better first impression than you were expecting then. Rolling out the welcome mat, as it were.
So I have a question. Where's Lucifer?
Oh, I should have put that in discussion. Oops. Which Lucifer?
Oh, there are many Lucifers. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
What a coincidence.
They follow, continuing to chatter in their language about things aboard your ship. I mean,
Oogie nudges Marcus because he doesn't recognize any of the other names that have been mentioned, but he does recognize Lucifer, so he nudges Marcus and whispers in kind of a hiss. Did you just call them the devil?
Oh no. I mean, didn't you ever go through like a religious stage?
I mean, every time I tried to escape, sure, I prayed to something.
Yeah, well, one time when I was trying to get better, I went through like this religious stage. Didn't really work out for me, but the names were cool. Max is just gonna turn towards him. What about like Cain and Abel? What are they about?
they look among each other, and then Ezekiel shakes his head. Do not believe any of us are named Cain or Abel.
Huh. Okay.
Are you guys taking them to a conference room, a meeting room, some sort? Your ship certainly has them.
Yeah, let's go to a meeting room.
Okay.
At this point, Max is making some notes.
All right.
And actually, wait, here's a question. Do we get internet in their system?
You do not.
She.
There appears to be no extraplanetary connection at all.
Aside from their own.
Marcus would like to do some administration.
Okay,
Would
what
like
is Marcus?
Wait, how many staff do we have on our ship right now? Or just people?
Like around 100, a little bit less than 100.
Okay. Does Marcus have access, being, medical officer, have access to people's profiles?
Sure.
And potentially their religion alignment?
Sonny hasn't restricted him from that yet. No, yeah, so yeah.
Cool. Max is having a quick little search trying to find for people who are overtly religious.
Okay, what is Marcus trying to accomplish here?
So he wants to get, because Marcus doesn't know any more like angel names.
Okay.
Because obviously Cain and Abel weren't angels; they were sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first sin. But he's trying to get more angel names to then just like chuck at them to see if it sticks to work out if his theory is correct.
Okay.
Not that it means anything, he's just curious.
Sure.
He's playing a game with himself.
I think I follow what he's doing. And I'm going to say that he gets back. Just about any of the names that you want to pull up from that generator.
Right. Okay.
They all got them angel names.
uh, are you guys gonna start asking them if they've got a Rizol, Omail,
A Malik.
Malik? Yeah, they've got a Malik.
I mean, like, not to be, not to throw water on you, but like basically those are just Hebrew names. If you're looking at Semitic formations.
I know, it's
that
just
generator
names.
goes outside Hebrew also.
It does, but that's just because the canon's been accumulating a long time.
It's also just more the fact that it's a hive mind potentially. They're all having biblical names. They've all been named this by something else, therefore it sees itself as God.
Maybe. I see where you're going with the idea.
Because essentially these are all of its angels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you sit them down. They have no comment on the Audrima cookbook. And Ezekiel looks at a lot of you.
And Temlikos is pretty obviously some sort of Greek, but yeah.
Thank you for receiving us. It is. We are all in wonder and awe to be on a Raza ship, not the Raza ship.
What brings you so close to the Raza? What draws your, I guess, interest into it? Is
One
it
of the
its
females,
tails?
either Seraph or Heniel, you're not really sure because they have moved about since they were introduced, says it is close to Portia Lynn.
Oh. What's it about porcelain that intrigues you? Their acts or the fact of who they are? Or what they've encountered?
Ezekiel raises his hand. If this is to be a trade, you should answer questions also.
Oh. Sorry, I was just trying to get to, like, know what you was after so we could provide better information. And now we know. It's good to know.
Where is Portia Lynn?
Arrested?
I'll look a little bit upset about that. Arrested. Has she done something wrong?
Whoa, you just told me off for asking 2 questions in a row.
What do you want to know?
Marcus just looks to the others. Look, I've got questions, but it's up to you.
Really get the important ones out of the way. Yeah, or should we? Actually, we could ask what they know about the Vega or the Infraworld entities.
I think the priority here needs to be what is going on every 28 days. We should probably start with questions related to that.
The psychic event, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, this is potentially a 2-part question because one part depends upon knowledge that I don't know if you have. So the first question is, do your people have the capability to be psychic in a manner? And because of that, that leads me to my actual question, which is, are you aware of the events that are happening within your system that seem to be repeating themselves?
Originating from the star.
None of us are psychic, but we do know of the pulse that goes out.
Interesting. Interesting. So,
Why was
just to clarify,
Porcelain arrested?
I mean, have you heard tales of, the events they did? Oh, shall I say, accused of?
Yes, the previous Porcelain told us all about it.
Previous one. Interesting.
You may ask a question. And we don't actually have to go back and forth here. In fact, they're not as rigid on going back and forth.
And I don't see that we really have anything that's worth hiding. I mean, unless they ask, like, something you think would be, like, something you'd want to keep secret. But
Yeah.
if they're just asking questions about Portugal, and I feel like there's no reason for us not to just share what we know.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Max's questions are going to be the fact of, like, how many people exist on your planet? If it's above a certain amount and they're saying they're no psychics, then obviously that confirms they are cloning people.
Or they're androids.
Yeah, one of the two. But the fact that our psychic friend here could make contact means they are not androids.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they are, what was it? You said, like, true AI or some high-level version of AI?
Ada.
Nope. Telepaths
I guess
can't
they
make
could
contact with them either.
If you've got meta and you took the thingy
Well,
one,
sure.
you can, but
Yeah.
that's
But we don't.
niche. But yeah, no, so these are obviously life forms.
Yeah. Well, regarding people and population, they say that they number fewer than a million, and that their human community fluctuates, but doesn't ever seem to get above 100,000. Across multiple cities, that is. They do distinguish themselves as different from the human community.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Which is, so, how does the democracy and stuff work with you? What do you call yourselves? Obviously, you referred to the others as humans, therefore you acknowledge you are anything but human?
Well, we are mech. I am a mech. We
A
are all
mech.
Audrima.
Oh.
Like Tora.
Yeah, it's a MEC, not Mecha. It's an unfortunate coincidence of the name.
Not MECH.
Yeah.
So,
Just
what
MEC.
differentiates you from a human then? To find yourself so different, to be calling yourself something else?
And at this point, they kind of want to know why you're so interested in who they are.
Well,
They get a little bit reluctant.
I mean, I come from a pretty walled-in city, where there's all sorts of people. I've come across jellyfish that steal organs of bodies to then use and adorn on their bodies. I've come across ever-adapting slugs looking to kill whatever's in their path, and all things like that. But obviously, this is the first time meeting you, so I'm wanting to know more about you. Obviously, you know what humans are, because you live with them. I've never met one of you, so I'm wanting to know more about you. Because you may have customs,
This
or...
seems unimportant in the face of your future.
Oh, in the face of our future. Oh. In, 27 days?
3 pulses have rung out, 7 more, and then nothing for you.
Okay. I like this. But how do you know that to be true?
It has happened twice.
Okay. And I'm guessing the fact that there is only one planet here is no mistake, no accident.
We don't know the history of this planet, only that our ancestors were brought here as test subjects.
Okay. Is Riley in the room with us?
Nope.
Okay.
So 10 pulses to the end. I mean, this sounds more like the end of the universe hooey that the top brass at Raza keeps spouting.
Yeah.
The universe does not end. It goes
for
back.
resets. At least that's what I understand. It's a loop.
So, how far did the previous porcelain get? Did they make it as far? Were they close enough?
Wait.
Hang on real quick. The previous porcelain came and spoke to us in your year 3251.
And what are we?
Only 3252, aren't we?
You are. Mhm.
Oh,
You
that was last
are just in May of 3252.
so they're a year quicker than us. Interesting.
Well, we have not seen porcelain this time.
I wonder what was different.
So wait, how many times? So they have memory of these resets?
They seem
How
to.
many,
Yeah.
how many times have you seen porcelain? Was
Huh.
it just the previous or the one before that as well?
It was only the previous time.
Oh, because obviously the first time we don't know it's happened.
The first time was when we were subjects.
Yeah. You did your experiment, they wiped it fresh again, wanting to see new results on the simulation. But, alas, maybe porcelain was using the ship in the infodrive, therefore they weren't in the proper dimension at the time when the wipe happened. It messed with them, hence why they had a feeling to come back here. Question, do we
Maybe.
know porcelain had wiped memories or partial memories?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And
But
yes,
that was
she did.
that was chalked up to the QED.
In fact, you guys actually still have that QED.
Yeah, in fact, actually, yes, we actually have the QED with her memories in it. So
Yep.
porcelain's memories being missing is a known thing from the same thing that that we've gone through, albeit less voluntarily. But sounds like this is a distinct thing where everyone kind of forgets, but it's also like resetting in time, right?
So,
How far back does it go?
yeah, let me throw a little bit of information out at you. They seem perfectly willing to talk about your upcoming demise here or disappearance, and they're even willing to provide evidence in the fact that the Spectrestar Technologies frigate that they have is about 700 years old from back in 25. It's 25. It's that's why it seems like it's such old technology because it's missing 700 years of advances. And they have another copy of that exact same ship, as well as 2 copies each of 2 other Spectrestar Technology ships.
But the Scream was 300 years ago, right? Something like that.
The Scream was 600 years ago.
Oh, 600 years ago. So it's
But-
really only missing 600. No, well,
Oh,
how
that's
much is
true.
it really missing advancement wise? Because after
That-
the Scream, advancement kind of stopped, right? For the
That's
most part.
true. It is fairly comparable, but it's missing 700 years of changes
I mean, if
in
anything,
iconography.
all it's really, I mean, arguably 100 years pre-Scream was probably more advanced than it would be now, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
How's
true.
that work
That's
out?
true.
let's skip over that.
Free tech stuff is wild.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where free tech came from.
But the idea is that they have 2 copies of these Spectre Star Technologies ships that they say are the same ships that brought the mech as test subjects, just normal human test subjects to be experimented on way back in time, and that. Cycle 1 started let's see, hang on real quick. So Cycle 0 is obviously the time that they were brought here, and I'm mixing things up. Cycle 0 is the first time that they were sent back.
In
I mean, presumably, essentially, everyone is quote unquote sent back. It's just no one else has memories of it, right?
also, I definitely want to try and persuade them to get to let me scan one of them. So, and I'll tell them why, so I can compare it against other people I found that went back in time.
Okay, so
That's true.
the history that they give you is that Cycle 0 is when their ancestors were brought to Mectora by Spectre Star Technologies as test subjects.
Do they remember the name of the ship they were brought on?
Yes.
They recognized the name. What was it, Starmint?
No, Starmint is a Spectre Star Technologies ship, but it's not one that brought them over. It's,
Okay. So it doesn't mean anything to them.
It does mean something to them. Starmint is the name of a ship that they lost after the very first time that the stars changed. They didn't realize that they had gone back almost 8,000 years. They had no idea that that was even possible. And so they sent scouts out to try and figure out what was going on with the rest of the sector once the test subjects turned against their captors. Starmint was one of those ships that went out and never came back.
That's why I want to see if they'd allow me to scan them, and I would give them the previous results.
Yeah.
Seems to me like it's a really good idea for, reasons to just go ahead and share everything with these people.
I mean, because one of them, we're not going to lose anything.
I'm saying they're a meta progression mechanic.
What?
a canon meta progression mechanic.
That first cycle was the stars shifted, and they eventually figured out that meant they went back in time. But the stars shifted in September of 3250. They went back
So
to
2 years ago?
2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, I think, what it would be. The first actual cycle, Cycle 1, they say that the stars shifted in 3252. And here we are at the end of Cycle 2, and they tell you that the stars will shift again. They're expecting the stars to shift again in about 7, cycles, 7 pulses.
And they're
Do
20
the
degrees apart.
do the pulses signal the shifting of the stars, or are they causing it somehow?
We do not know. They don't know. They've found some technological structures on their world that they've not been able to access.
Would you allow us access to them?
No.
I have another question for you. How does democracy work on your planet? Do you have a leader of sorts?
We are all Audrima. From their descriptions, you can extrapolate that they don't actually really have a hierarchy or authority structure, except for whatever occurs on the fly. Like Ezekiel is the commander of this boarding team because Ezekiel is the oldest and wisest, and that is just determined by group consensus.
So, So, Ezekiel, how old are you in years and wipes?
In
Or
human
resets?
years, I am 283.
And how many, resets have you gone through?
This will be my first.
So they're just going off their records, essentially.
They are very much going off their records. Yeah, the reset is 7,742 years.
Now we've been asking y'all a lot of questions. This was meant to be an exchange. Is there anything else you'd like to know from us?
Yeah, they basically just want to know what's happening with Portia Lynn. They have mild curiosity of the rest of the sector, but I'll give this to you. In their inquiries, they seem to think that Portia Lynn somehow has some kind of relevance because and this loops into what Marcus does. They do allow a scan, and those aliens that you find, yeah, there's allowing for some genetic shift over however many years these people have actually been alive since that happened for them. Um, that's those people buried on Ka are from these people.
Yeah,
They were Mac.
They were mech. And their curiosity in Portia Lynn is because they consider her as close to one of them as any human ever. She is a victim. They tell you that the Cycle 1 Portia Lynn had recovered her memories and told them about her history and how she herself was a super soldier project of Spectrestar Technologies. They believed that Spectrestar Technologies found one of the other ships that had gone out and not returned, and found a corpse of one of them, and started to reverse engineer the genetics and the nanotech. So in that exchange of trade of information, they're almost exclusively focused on Portia Lynn.
I very much doubt this. Would I have a record of her medical?
Yeah, because in this cycle, She she was on a ship with Jai as the medical officer, who was very interested in genetics, and
In which
actually
case,
had stalker-like photos of Portia Lynn.
wait, is she on the ship?
She's not.
Okay. In which case, I'll say to him, well, what about if I give you her entire makeup and you can see what you make of it? See if you see any common similarities.
But we already know that she is related.
How related?
She's
They think
our
that she is the result of somebody's attempt to reverse engineer them
yes.
via time travel shenanigans.
So has Spectre Star ever tried to, like, did they come back here each cycle?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why they've got 2 copies of 3 of their ships.
So, and I guess whenever they come back, that whenever they come here for their research, they find the planet already inhabited and they just disappear so far as Spectre Star is concerned.
I assume
Uh,
Spectre Star ends up disappointed because they're prepared for them.
No. Oh, yes. Sorry, I was hearing that backwards.
Yeah.
Yes, what Aura said. Spectre Star.
They-
2 research
They
and
basically-
1 security escort. Come to the planet with test subjects to begin their super soldier project and find Audrima boarding parties ready for them, who then take the ships and the would-be subject and integrate those subjects into whatever human society they have.
Yeah, presumably it's more or less the same subjects each time.
Well,
Weird at all.
okay, so
Oh wait, is that why they all look the same?
probably. But also, there's a question
What
of
a weird time. Oh,
if we did sell them somebody, what would they do with them? Because that would help inform a couple of things.
They they just integrate them into whatever human city as needs another person. The 2 kids that they bought off those traders are living a happy life.
presumably. So, like Tora, the Audrima system just kind of stay as they are when this happens, when the cycle resets.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas everything else in the sector goes
It puts
basically
them,
resets.
roughly 30,000 years ahead of the rest of humanity, basically.
They still only have less than a million people.
Yeah, right, but also, 30,000 years more history at this point.
Yeah, they got good record keeping at least. This is a lot to take in.
Let me put a little bit of it in the chat here. There's also a little bit more information that they
I guess that-
venture.
I was gonna say, do they know what causes it, and by any chance, is it related to the Vega? Do they know about the Vega?
They don't know what causes it. We kind of already asked that with the
okay.
pulses.
Yeah, they don't know what causes it, and they don't really know about the Vega either.
Well, that's
Really?
a correctable problem.
So they don't know anything about. Yeah, there's no signs of like condensers or anything. There's no infraworld activity here that we can tell.
There's literally nothing in the other
But it's
secondary evidence we have, also, of anything going on with the Vega here.
Like, yeah, I guess this doesn't really line up with the Vega thing either, right? Because it's not the sector being subsumed. This is like
it sort of does. It looks like an attempt to beat that to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like some sort of mechanism that when it's there when it's failed to stop, then it resets the cycle.
I think that's exactly what it is.
That's my best theory, or in your best theory, I suppose. That I'm co-opting now.
That's okay. You're gonna have to carry it forward.
Yeah. Huh.
All yours.
But why and
The,
how
the,
and
f-
who?
the first pulse went out shortly after we let.
Bird be subsumed. So there's a critical mass essentially.
Well, did it?
That
Or is that
triggers
just the
this.
first one we detected? Because remember, this thing's been constantly growing in strength. It's possible that there were others before that we didn't notice.
No, the
and
guy said there'd been
Misunderstand
3.
some.
Yeah, they'll corroborate the date that the pulse is activated with the date that you guys experienced the first pulse.
Okay. And so in another what? It sounds like about 12 days.
Pulses.
There will be another pulse.
Let's see. We just had one, I believe, on the 29th. No, it's been about 6 days from the last pulse. So.
Oh yeah, you said there was one on the way here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean. Okay.
If y'all know about this whole going back in time thing, how come you never let anybody else know?
And
Maybe
this
we
is.
could-
Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, maybe we could do something about it. Maybe we could do something different if we had a little bit more advanced warning.
And this is where they give you that response that they don't want to tamper with events. They don't know. Audrima as a whole, as the whole planet being Audrima, have decided that tampering could make things worse. And, they don't
Because-
know what direction to go right now.
Especially if they are also convinced that it's some sort of defense mechanism.
Well, also,
Yeah,
it sounds like it is, in a real serious way, sort of the reason that they are what they are.
the test subject would not have been able to rise up. Their ancestors would not have been able to rise up against the Spectre Star scientists and security if going back 8,000 years in time did not cut them off from.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, their history started with the first pulse, basically.
Because that cut
And
off.
they've got about 30. What? They've been 3 pulses or 4?
This is cycle 2. They've had 2 resets so far, so they're only.
Okay, so they've
about
got 15,000 more years. I counted wrong.
That's fine.
I thought there had been more. So they've got 15,000 years of history that were basically given them because of the pulses and the consequences to the timeline. They don't want to give that up. It's actually kind of hard to blame them, but doesn't really help us.
And it does show in genetic advancements that Marcus is seeing. Yeah, that is just they're being able to walk across without vac suits is just genetics.
That's some fancy genetics.
Yeah.
So I felt like we should give them the. I mean, I guess we've still got time to get the Raza involved, like command leadership involved. But my inclination is that at the very least they could serve as a data repository, even if we can't figure out how to prevent this cycle thing from resetting. Which obviously it seems like probably not.
I mean, you
But
could also
it seems like particularly the fact that they don't know anything about the Vega. That seems like some information that they should be given.
What were you saying
Right.
there,
On them.
Ben?
Yeah, I don't want to
we-
argue about any of that. I have a lot of follow through thoughts here, but get to the end of where y'all are at.
You could also just try and persuade them, like, hey, look, if you help us, then the next time round, by helping us, you're helping yourself, because that means you'll get to see Partial in again. Because without telling us,
I mean, I
you
guess
don't get
we.
to see her again.
I mean, you could tell them. Well, they don't leave the system or anything, because they don't want to tamper.
Sounds like their interest in her is almost academic anyway. Like, literally academic, not,
Yeah, after they
Not-
lost some brothers and sisters early on, they haven't left the system.
But
at-
they would still like to see Porcelain come back.
they
Where?
their
Or,
interest is
well,
very academic. They
okay,
want
right,
to
that's what you said.
see what her exploits are, and they want to see if perhaps she is as central to things occurring, to what's happening, as some of their thoughts have swayed. Now,
So I'm inclined to think that we need to get. Yeah, absolutely be interesting to bring Porcelain here, huh?
um,
We
it
don't have
would.
her. We
If
don't have her yet.
We could try and grab her though.
We do have the mission where we can get her now, right?
We have about 200 days to do so. So I have thoughts here.
Okay.
I have to assemble them. 200 days is not a lot of time.
But it explains a lot about what you've been saying about the timeline that's left.
Also,
Us out of
What-
the game.
If we can convince them that if they will at least deliver a message in the next cycle, and then decide what that message should be.
I mean, here's also the question: what are the thoughts on people taking refuge here? I mean, I guess obviously not. They're very much so like, hey, leave. I can't imagine they're looking for a large wave of immigrants.
I gotta be honest, there's a level on which Izzy would be really happy to stay.
I mean, right?
there are the voices that Izzy normally hears. That's not nearly as chaotic as everywhere. I don't know if that's comforting to him or not, but
Oh no, he's
I
just
guess-
chicken.
I mean, yeah, I guess their thoughts would be a lot more orderly because they're all
If
more
the
in line
universe is
with each
going
other.
down, he doesn't really want to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of cease to be, and it's like, I don't really know if. It doesn't sound like it's a painful way to go, right?
So, right now, I've written down that you'd like them to give a message. You'd like to ask if they'll allow anyone to take refuge. Do you have any other questions? Because we're gonna do some rolls before we end here today.
Yeah, I have more plans than questions, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
I do
think
want to make the observation that from the sound of things, notwithstanding that Marcus was pulled here by the pulses, whatever Izzy's picking up is coming from somewhere else. So these are not the only people who may have a clue to the overall situation.
It is interesting that people are being drawn. Like there's this semi-compulsion to come here, right?
Right. Speaking of which, knowing that we had, data that was in part numerically encoded, is knowing, for example, the rotation period of Audrima help make any sense of it?
It very likely will. And actually, let me just say, yes, it will, but it's going to take some more parsing.
Somebody has to do the work, and that's fine. Yeah.
So they don't have much in the way of psychics here. Like my
don't have
theory
any
now.
psychics, no.
None.
Well, they say they don't
is-
have any psychics, which is not literally true if they can bounce me from their minds, but, that's splitting hairs at that point. What they mean is
I
they
think
don't have
that's-
what everybody else has.
Well, the reason I find that odd though is like the pulse is like you said, Marcus was feeling like a pull here, and you're getting like instructions.
Well, that's my point. There's obviously somebody
something-
else sending the message. Somebody wanted Marcus to come here. Or
Right.
wanted
How do they not-
Telekinetic
but-
to come here.
But if there's a lure to bring psychics here, why don't they have any psychics?
A good question.
Like
Finding
you'd think,
whoever set the lure would be the way we find that out.
like
though.
I'm like my thought on that is like, okay, well if it's a mechanism against the Vega, maybe they're trying to create a force, like a larger concentration of psychics here to
the
resolve.
operating theory with these people might be to eventually make people who can beat the Vega. That seems like a
Yeah,
sound
exactly.
hypothesis. Yes.
It's also one of them. Psychics only came about after FTL traveled due to the metaspace fucking with them.
I
Right.
do also want to point out that whatever is creating this pulse and lure, these people didn't create that.
Right.
The
was
lure
the other point.
could just be a side effect of whatever M space psychic phenomenon is being employed here to create the time travel.
It sounds like
But
it's
even
probably
so-
not, but I hear you.
You'd think they'd have at least some psychics from. Well, I guess it's only been 2 cycles, right?
Right.
So I guess
And
it's not really been an
I have to
opportunity
guess
for.
that if Spectre Star were trying to create super soldiers, they would probably not want them to be psychic on account of that making them even harder to contain. But what would I know?
Yeah.
So let's get a couple rolls. The 2 questions that I have that can be rolled right now, and you can ask more later and roll for them as well. Are you want to give a message to future someone, and you want to ask if they'll allow anyone to take refuge. That's both of those questions have tiered answers based on how well you roll. So let's get your most your most like best debater, best talker, whoever has the best chance of making a successful roll. And let's see, were any of you pure expert? I don't think so.
Oh, sorry.
No full experts here.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that actually makes that easier. So
Yeah, you don't need to worry about any rerolls.
nope.
Unless I can argue this is part of bounty hunter.
I'm not so sure about that one.
Come on, I'm absolutely in pursuit of a target. The target
However,
being refuge.
I will allow it to be diplomacy for purposes of the ones. If somebody I believe has the diplomat focus. I think 2 of you actually might. And also assuming that I'm not saying the wrong one.
Yeah, I think that Marcus and I both have diplomat.
Okay.
Yours.
Alright, so yeah, or you can reroll 1s on any skill check dice related to negotiation or diplomacy. This counts.
I'm assisting, so I will roll and potentially give you a +1.
You'll have to roll something other than talk.
Well, I'm actually not the best talker. I only have +1 in talk.
I have a +1 in survive.
I have +2 in talk and +2 charisma.
Why don't we have Oogie
you're
do
better
some
for the talk.
assist?
I will do the assist.
What skill would you like to assist with? How is Oogie contributing to Marcus's talk?
If you'll allow it, I would like to use wisdom and connect to make a persuasion for why what we're asking is in the Audriman's interest.
Okay. Well, I hate to argue against you, but that sounds more like a trade to me.
Okay, I can make that trade as well. I mean,
Oh gosh.
Connect is Oogie's best skill by a long shot, but
Wow.
yeah, I could also make that trade that we are, part of me is thinking that the message that we send could be related to getting Portia Land back to them.
Yeah. I'm only I would allow you to roll the connect if you want to. It's an edge case because connect would be more like actually making connections instead of
Oh, that's true. Okay.
I mean, it is
trade
still an edge case. I do still think it would work, but I also know that you get 3d6 when you roll trade.
That is also, yeah. Okay, I will support with trade then.
Okay. Fantastic. Marcus, you get a +1. Go on both of these rolls. Go ahead and give me 2 of them.
Uno.
Wow.
Well, okay.
And did you want a second?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
not
second
gonna
one
be
is
as-
the second one is a
Wait,
refugee.
wait. Oh no, it's reroll ones. It's not 3d6. I was going to say, could that have been higher?
Just roll your second one.
Okay, I'll re-roll a 1.
Okay, go for it.
So that's
Ooh,
2,
that's 4.
7
12.
plus
S plus 4
5.
gets you to a 12. Okay. Well, I was going to ask you which of those results you wanted to apply to which of the questions, but you got a 12 on both of them, so it's not really important. The tiers would have gone like to give a message. They certainly, you could have convinced them to give a message, but they were going to push back and say, but only to Portia Lynn. You got a 12 up there, and so they will pass along information, data that you want them to provide. Basically, they'll take a storage device, a storage unit from you, and pass that along to the Raza in a future cycle. As long as the Raza acknowledges some kind of association with Portia Lynn. Which I will tell you as players will always be the case. Portia Lynn will always be included in the initial Raza setup, whether she is a PC or if she's not a PC, she gets shanghaied off before the PCs wake up. So as players, that will always be true. And characters don't know that, obviously, but
I mean, even if it weren't true, just playing stupid games with time loop logic, the only loops that would be of interest to your campaign then are ones in which Portia Lynn is associated with the Raza.
yeah, that's true too. And as for taking refuge, that is a fantastic result. They're not willing to take on like thousands of people, but they take some time to communicate some of the discussion back to Mektora, and some of the argument is made across. In fact, maybe they even open up a screen for you to conference with a panel of mech on Audrima, who all again look very similar to each other. I do have different ages of those of those tokens, and I'll put them up in just a second. But
I want to know who's the oldest one of them.
The oldest do not look any older than those two pictures right there.
No, I don't mean like physically how they look, but like who's the one who like remembers the most?
Oh, the oldest of them is only 410 years old.
So they just got really good record keeping.
They've learned to keep really good records.
That, or they're entirely wrong about a lot of things.
Could also be. Their record keeping at the start was a little bit spotty, but they got when they realized what happened, they started getting their butts in gear. They'll take in as refugees a reasonable amount of people.
So I have a very uncomfortable question here for you, Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something you can think about between sessions, because I don't think you're going to have an answer for it right now. You had a vote for NPCs who may appear in the next cycle.
Mm-hmm.
What if one of those NPCs is one of our refugees?
I'm not too worried about it.
Years old by then?
Yeah.
So if we can find somebody who can live to 8,000.
Like an android.
Well,
I was just thinking that if they're here on Audrima, then they're excluded from the cycle then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes and no. They will live through the cycle, but they will go back in time. Seems to be basically what happens.
Oh,
Yep.
I think I misunderstood you. Yes, that is correct. So if you put Portia Lynn on Mectora, then this cycle's Portia Lynn would go back in time and live out the rest of her days, and then the next cycle's Portia Lynn would get created in the lab.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's not actually removing anybody from the time stream. It's just
If someone could survive those 8,000 years, two of that person would
Well,
exist.
so now I have to ask a question. How long do you think them jellyfish live?
they're not willing to take any jellyfish refugees. Sorry.
Well, that seems unfair. All right, now we get back into how long can we keep an android going?
So, what sort of people can we leave here to just cause the whole timeline to be messed up? Right?
I'm taking my game away from you guys.
And we should leave the Raza. And we should leave the Raza here so they have a powerful ship 8,000 years ago.
No, we just leave our ship here.
And our ship, yes. I mean, they basically just leave a whole fleet here, and they just go out and take over the whole sector. And then all of Dexter's work will be for nothing, and he has to create a whole new sector.
No,
We
what
leave
Dexter will do
somebody
is
with
come
an-
up with a reason why that didn't work before he starts the next campaign. Don't be silly.
We leave somebody who already has an Iden on board.
Oh boy.
I mean,
I mean, I'll be honest, like, leaving Riley and Park here seems like an incredibly good idea because they deserve better.
the children are our future, and our future's looking really short.
I mean, it's also one that I want to put Riley on it because that way, they can potentially see if there's other Vega.
No,
on
what
it.
we need to do is, God help
guess-
me, actually go with Marcus's plan and get our own psychic academy going and leave it here.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this would be the place for the Psychic Academy now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We should probably at some point probably brought Riley in too. I thought about it. It's just like, as a safety concern, but
I don't think we can leave Riley here. I don't think that's responsible.
I don't think
not
she'll
with
let
crew.
us.
I think it is, though.
I mean, just think of all the information. I mean, it's really useful information for the next cycle.
But it's
I
also
think
one of
we-
them. It's a good test with what
Also,
what does a Vega experience once the reset happens.
Well,
think leaving
okay, so
crew here
hold
is
on.
dangerous.
Before we get too involved in the let's leave people here to go back in time idea, I think we want to try to observe the next pulse or have somebody observe the next pulse from here in the system.
I mean, that's kind of a given. It's just
I mean, we might as well stay here for it, right?
It feels
no,
like
we
the
have
kind
to
of
be
thing
out
we
of here
might
in
have
8
to roll
hours.
to convince them of.
they are kicking us out.
Right, like I said, that feels like the kind of thing we might have to convince them of.
Oh wait, I guess yeah. Are they still strict on the old 24 hours?
Because you're from the Raza,
We
they're
basically negotiated refugee status for anyone.
yeah, they're being more lenient with you. They're not going to kick you out in 24 hours.
Ooh,
Nice.
I'll ask them a question.
Are they still going to steal our stuff?
No.
I have a question for
better.
them. How much help could they give us in order for us to try and break out Portia Lynn from her situation and bring her here?
None. They're not willing to put any of them out of Audrima. In fact, they're not even flying off to the horizon to greet guests at this point. The whole 24-hour warning, they tell you that they would not have done anything except for after the final pulse, gone out and taken whoever was there.
Also,
Okay. I mean, my second question is it useful for us to look over the Star Spectre ships technology-wise?
Loud.
Probably not after they've been kept running for 8,000 years.
That
Maybe,
is correct. Yes. There's
also, I just-
yeah. Let me
Sorry.
answer that real quick. There's nothing particularly special about the Spectre Star technology ships, aside from the fact that they're ships from pre-Scream. But even then, they were just they weren't pre-tech ships. They were just standard ships in what was at that time a frontier sector that needed spike drives.
I just realized that the threat of them boarding, because they're all basically super soldiers, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Right. I actually don't know if I'd like our odds in a fight with 4 of them on here. I remember Porcelain being vaguely scary.
Yes, and they have had what was it, Aura? 15,000
If it's
years.
been 2 cycles, they've had about 15,000 years.
Yes.
It's also one of them. It's like these are the OGs.
But they're still using the old ships, which is weird. But then again, I guess
They got
militarily all
one
they can
planet
do is
worth of stuff to build, and they've had 15,000 years to use it up.
That's true. The resources on the planet just
Their resource situation
depleted.
might be kind of bad, actually, but apparently they're cool with it.
Maybe that's why they don't have more ships.
They
Maybe that's why they don't have more people.
they get
Probably
new
both.
asteroids when time resets. The asteroids that come in get replenished because reset. So they've got raw resources.
So the effect doesn't extend much beyond the orbit of Nectora.
Does not extend very much beyond the orbit of Nectora. No.
Interesting.
And their tech tree, so to speak, if this were a video game, is very narrowly focused. So, and this kind of ties into the question that I posed in Stars Without Number Discord. What if they were a hive mind and inhibited creativity? The mech are not creative at all. They have made advances in genetic engineering and in nanotech because that's what they are. They've made slow advances to that. They have some advances in weaponry, about the equivalent of, disruptor cannons, whatever the TL5 weapons are. But they haven't, really explored advances in shipbuilding or engineering, or
They just don't really have that drive to.
Don't need to.
they don't have the drive, the creativity, or the inspiration.
So on them, it's if you're staying within your system as well, there's no point really leaving.
Yeah.
Like,
And they already know that for roughly 8,000 years, they're perfectly safe. And no one's coming to invade them.
Yep.
it's like
I mean,
majority of our tech became from military as such. If you're
I
not
don't
getting
think
into
they
empty
actually
fights,
know that.
No, they do. The 8,000 years?
Yeah.
Sure, they do. They've lived through it
No.
twice.
They know that they reset in time. They don't know if anybody else does. They just know they've been left alone twice.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's still a lot of time to get really settled and not
I agree.
assume there's no threat.
All I'm saying is that we haven't actually
yes.
proven they're the only ones yet, which is kind of important.
That is true. For all we know, the Vega are adapting each time too.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Actually, one of the most helpful things we could find out, but alas, it sounds like there is no way to do it, is if in those past cycles, Zendare was destroyed.
They don't know what triggered. They don't
Triggles,
know
new
what
word.
triggered the first reset. They have no idea what happened there.
That's fine.
The second one, the one in which Porcelain visited them and had a little bit of a sit down and a chat. There didn't seem to be anything in particular that triggered anything. Although Porcelain was very curious about a bomb of some sort that was found on the Raza.
Okay, yeah, these people don't know much about what goes on outside of here, and that's fine. Now remind me, during the first cycle, history ended when?
During the first cycle, history ended in 3250.
And in the second cycle?
3252.
Okay, so we're doing about as well as the second cycle so far.
You're doing a little bit better because you're going to end closer to 3253.
Oh, well, good to know that we're definitely boned. Okay.
We bought a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay, so what that suggests basically
Wait a
is that
second.
in the first cycle, something went colossally wrong early on, from our perspective.
I mean, yeah,
Didn't
'cause we didn't know
buy-
it was a thing.
Did we manage to buy a couple months of time for Bird for the Xander?
Yes, we did, sort of. Mostly they're just
Is-
observing it, from what I recall.
Or Xander? Well, I know we disabled at least one. We disabled a couple condensers there, right?
Right, and we
You
But
did
it
manage to
wasn't
buy a
any-
little bit of time. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious if the amount of time we bought from that was the difference between the second
Well,
cycle and this
it's
one.
probably a factor. I have to assume, based on everything we do know, that there's at least one other system that will make its way to the infraworld before this is over.
Hmm.
It's just a reasonable hypothesis.
They, from what little news they have gotten from incoming ships, that they'll tell you that things have changed in the cycles. That the cycles, this cycle did not go exactly the same as the last one, as far as sector events. But major things like Mercure Core has been a thing both times, all three times. Spectre Star Technologies sprung up from Harbinger Robotics has been a thing all three times. The big driven things have been truths.
And also the Spectre Star Technologies thing back to the system has been a thing.
That has been very consistent.
It sounds like most of the changes are stochastic, not actually random. Okay. So what do they feel about us observing a pulse?
They're fine with that.
Okay. Who do we think is qualified to do that?
All of us.
No, that's a waste of most of our time.
Well, observing a pulse, do you mean just the next one or the end of them?
The next one from here.
I mean,
They
presumably some people's, yeah, because we got the refugee thing. Some people will be able to observe the last one.
I mean, notwithstanding that that you're cool dudes and all, I don't really see what Archibald Rugi adds to a pulse observation team.
Oh yeah, no, I have nothing.
It's kind of what I'm getting at here.
Well, we don't have to assign specific people to that. You've got a whole ship full of intelligent, mostly people.
But
like we definitely
that
need
means our
psychics.
ship is here. I don't think it should be. I think some other ship with people who are qualified to do this should be here in 28 days.
Okay, so you're looking more at getting Armstrong here. You're looking more at getting Zoe or Nemesis here.
Right. Yeah.
People that have specialized and dedicated.
That
I
have
mean,
the kind of
Zoe built the
background that they
detector
can-
in the first
right.
place.
Yep, exactly. That's what I think we should be doing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we should be out there continuing to do what we're doing. Also, although it's probably a colossally bad idea, if we have Marcus and Izya back here and they're right at the epicenter of the pulse, I'm sure it will be a different experience this time.
Yeah, Noxa was just typing that as well.
Yep, definitely did psychic here. I feel like we need as many disciplines of psychic as we can, but I don't know if there's really any others that have shown
Well,
up
if we
in
can get
Rocket
this-
organization.
If we can get this jackass crook from Kamigo here with his cool teleportation, he'll have a different
Yeah.
experience.
Oh yeah, I don't think we figured out how that guy just doesn't die, huh? Or keeps coming
Yeah.
back.
Or does die a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on
we
how
had,
you want to look at it.
We had like 4 or 5 bodies, right?
Do you know the funny part, though?
Yes.
Do you know the funny part?
You need to figure that one out.
Imagine if he was affected by this, but in a different manner. As
That's
in,
kind of where I'm going
he
with the
really
idea.
I was gonna
affects-
say, I mean, it's not terribly dissimilar now, is it?
Patient zero.
Just very short, like a very short loop back.
All right, so I think we want to have a team in place to observe the next pulse, since I doubt very much that we can somehow avert at least one more from happening. It would be nice to believe we could avert, like, the last one.
As the GM laughs maniacally.
I said it would be nice to believe. I'm fully aware of our odds. They bad. Remind me who has porcelain in prison? Is it Spectre Star?
No, Spectrestar Technologies turned porcelain over to Galactic Mandate.
That sounds like we could still use Spectre Star intel to help break her out.
Yes. I
Okay.
think that was mentioned, wasn't it?
Now I feel pretty good about getting it.
Yeah, I think that's what you mentioned as their reward, wasn't it? Something about
We have Spectre Star intel that we had to use immediately coming to us.
yes. And I believe you mentioned that it would specifically added the ability to get. Let me see, porcelain out.
Just a real quick to answer that question, Nox. Izya isn't really feeling a pull. Izya is getting murmuring whispers, and susurrant whispers, I believe I called it.
Right. Which, based on the information from this setting, is not coming from here. Or from this session, is not coming from here.
Let me ask you why you believe that.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, because you kept telling Ben that it was more noticeable for him, and you've been telling me that it's about the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
Consequently, I have to assume that if there is some place where this transmission that Izzy is picking up is, it ain't here. But we'll know in 28 days if I'm back here for that.
Well, let me give you more information on that. The only variance in volume or anything for Izya, as not including the data, has been time elapsed since last pulse. It hasn't mattered where he's been. It has seemed about the same volume.
Are the pulses getting closer together?
No. The only variation that is there's been two variations that Izzy is experiencing. Time since last pulse is one of them. The whispers start to fade and dim as it gets longer away.
Okay.
And the other variation has been that the numbers are getting higher. The actual numbers related information.
Now I have a question.
Okay.
If the intensity is fading between pulses, when does that repeat we found in the message happen? At the start, right after each pulse, or does it happen multiple times per pulse?
Now that you've identified it, it's like a short, maybe 30-minute, an hour message. So it's repeating a lot.
And is that the entire content of what I'm hearing?
Yes. Now that you pulled it apart, the message component is very short. It's all the data that's being overlaid into that made it seem like it was not repeating at all.
Wait, before you mentioned this was in another language, correct? And then we kind of like pieced it together.
Yep, you've been working on that.
Is the language mech?
Nope. It is not.
Oh, no, I was going to ask if we say like.
I like to get the stupid questions out of the way right up front, man.
If we mime it out to them, are they able to identify it?
They're not.
Okay.
They have no idea what that is.
All right. So what we can infer from that is that this message is an automated broadcast of some kind that only becomes clear to us during pulse events. Mm-hmm. And then as whatever the pulse is doing fades or repairs itself, I am losing clarity, basically, on this repeating message.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would personally replace clarity with volume, but I don't know if you're using a specific jargon.
I'm not.
Okay. I would replace clarity with volume.
Fine.
It's what, it gets quieter or louder every time?
It's quieter.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a pulse, it's loud, and then it tapers off.
So it's kind of like a earthquake, and we're now having the aftershocks.
Yes. It's
sort
like
of.
This.
That's what it seems like.
Yep. Except what's happening though is that's your volume graph, and your content graph looks like a loop.
Yeah.
happening a bunch over the course of those different pulses.
Mm-hmm.
Like an earthquake, but at time. So time quake.
The numbers,
Are you
Mason.
pleased with
What do they
yourself?
mean?
I mean, I have to assume that what that means is that whatever's broadcasting the message is inside of metaspace or is being connected to us through metaspace during the pulse events.
It bears significant similarity to the whatever data they had on the screen.
If we wanted to get the Raza ship here,
Mhm.
what would it take?
It's gonna take 10 days getting back to actually.
They're in Bird right now, right?
Yeah, they're in Bird.
And
So
do they have we? I guess we haven't gotten the effort drive. It hasn't been installed on the Raza yet, right?
has not been installed on the Razi yet.
Fuck.
Um,
I want to see what the pulse is like in the infra world.
I don't know if it really lets them stay in the Emperor world, but I mean, well, of course we
Yeah,
have.
but
the
when you
Emperor world.
transition though,
Yeah,
just one of them. We know when this thing is going boom down to the second.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
you actually do know a way to be in the infra world.
Oh,
It's
Condenser.
yep, it's dangerous. You can physically be in the infra world, or Riley
We know
had
where a bunch of them are.
yeah, and on Onalau, the warning given to the original Raza crew about sleeping while within the the subsumed normal plane was that your dream may put you in the infraworld, and you may be given you may find yourself choosing between permanently staying in the infraworld, or at least your soul, or returning to life.
Okay, yeah, Marcus wants to make this happen.
So you could do that probably on Xandair also, but Onalau is at least probably safer because they had less electronics active.
But further away, no?
They are
At least
further
from where
away.
we're going back to? Yeah. That's a factor. We have a pretty rigid timeline here.
You do.
I mean, the thing is, I want to experience what it's like in this system, though.
Okay.
Yes. Well, let's bring a condenser here.
If we describe a condenser to the mech, what do they make of it?
I missed the first part of that question. Can you repeat it?
If we describe and show them a condenser to a mech and tell them its effects, what is their reaction?
They're not familiar with that technology.
We've dismantled all condensers. We haven't ever. Do we have a active one?
we know there's active ones on Cook. Well, I don't know. We don't have a way to like pack one up, right?
You don't really have a way of packing one up now. You would
There's
have
plenty
to.
on Bird.
Yeah, you'd have to build a new one.
If we needed to get one, we could get one there. They know how to make them.
But the problem is, I don't think they're really movable. Like they can be built on a ship. We know that. There's the mothership that's in where was that in? Artemis system?
Yep.
Which is over towards Onala.
Hmm.
But we disabled those.
Because it's one of them. I see three things. One, trying to get the infra drive fitted, bringing it into the system, and being in the infra world during the pulse. Two, potentially going to a condenser site, Marcus dreaming, and seeing what the hell he dreams when the pulse happens. Or
Knox, my understanding was that they go back in time like everyone else, but their state doesn't get reset.
Basically, everything on Mectora seems to stay the same.
Yes.
There seems to be
it's
one
like they're in a
continuous line.
bubble. They're in
Yeah.
the epicenter of the storm, the eye of the storm. Nothing resets for them, but everything around it just resets.
I was thinking just about what's going on down there on Mectora that's creating the pulses, and I presume creating the time shift effect.
But it's not on the planet. Marcus feels the pulse from the star.
From the
Regardless,
star. But they also mentioned that there's infrastructure on the planet that they've never accessed.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking here, I'm just spitballing. I'm looking through the core rules, and they talk about the history of space and how a choir of over 50 master teleporters enabled the gate travel. What if you had a planet that had 1,000 or 1,000,000 telepathic brains in jars conducting some kind of wild teleportation, precognitive, who's it, what's it, what could they accomplish, and what would that do? Well, what would that do to the psychics in the sector?
A scream. a big scream. Well, no, my question, Dexter. The boys, whatever you call them, at the edge of the system, do they disappear, or do they just reset state?
Yes, in fact, I was typing and wrote a half sentence. But yes, they have in fact brought the buoy back from where it normally hangs out, hanging around the edge of the system. It is.
So the buoy stays. The buoy exists after the reset.
Yeah, just because they don't want to build another one, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, even if they forgot it this time, they'd still have thousands of years to build one.
No. What I'm asking is, I'm trying to gauge what distance does the reset impact.
How far from Victoria does the
So obviously in a system you'll have multiple buoys. I'm trying to figure out at what point does the circle stop.
Have they ever measured that? I mean, I guess it's
because I know I would.
They haven't had very many times to measure it though.
That doesn't seem like their kind of thing. I bet they were just like, "Tom inside the planet, it'll be fine."
If I know I have to reset, like the first time round, something weird happened. Buoy 9, 10, 12, 14 went offline. It's like, okay, next time round, 9, 10, 12, 14 went offline. Okay.
I'm going to give you an answer to that. And then, yes, we are exactly an hour past.
I took the step of just eating here.
An answer to that is that they have incidental data based on asteroids and their positions at the time of reset. And the distance is similar to, but not exactly the same as the horizon. The reset is a little bit closer in than the horizon. Or the reset, field starts a little bit closer in than the horizon.
Isn't the horizon like a system-wide thing?
It's at the edge of the system.
Right. So you're saying the reset is at the edge of the system? I thought it was the edge. I thought it was just around the planet.
Oh no! It the whole system is preserved during the reset.
Well, then they get new asteroids that come in from outside the system, I guess, every a few thousand years.
Yes.
Yeah, this is why I want.
Or the asteroids are from outside the horizon. Anyways, okay, that's what confused me because you said they get new asteroids.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, the asteroids in this system are out past the horizon. And you find out through all this discussion that they do mine those for raw resources. And every reset, they get a new selection of asteroids.
Actually,
resources.
It's not even a new selection; it's the same selection of asteroids. There, you know which ones to look for. That'd be real efficient. It's like you don't even need to assess them anymore. It's like, oh, yep, there's that one.
That brings me to the question of the Theseus.
That's actually an important question. Are they exactly the same asteroids, or have they noticed variation?
The only variation they've noticed is that the reset has not occurred at the exact same time every time, so they're not seeing the exact same asteroids.
Well, they're getting set back a set number of years, right?
They are always set back. Yes, a very specific number of years.
7,742 years.
Yeah, and there's some decimals in there that I neglected to include
Yeah.
because it's not exactly 7,742. But
It's the same. At both times, they've been sent back the same number of years.
Yes.
Is it some even number of Mectoran days?
yes, it is.
Hmm.
I believe it's 300,000. Or not Mictoran days. It's some even number of Mictoran. Well, yes, it is because they're the same thing. It's some even number of Mictoran days and or cycles, years.
Okay,
Um,
that's some vital knowledge there.
So something about the timing mechanism.
It means that's
Or-
evidence that mech is causing the time shift, not just noting it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, or calibrated too, but I get where you're going with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Its engineering could well be. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways,
It may be
6 o'clock.
inconclusive.
Can we do 5 minutes of review?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry to hold you guys. Thank you all for being very accommodating to our scheduling difficulties. As you could probably tell, this was an important information session, and I'm glad you could all be here for it.
Yeah.